I like manga, and I like Minecraft, but most importantly, I like coming up with catchy titles. This intro fucking sucks. This is for chapter 5 of my manga Digman. Don't worry, I won't spoil anything. But it's about an underground kingdom that's trying to find the surface. And right now, the two main characters are on the way to see where they'll be staying for the duration of their Digman training. Knowing that the page the main characters see the house they'll be staying at for the first time is going to be a cool double-page spread, I came up with the idea to use Minecraft by tracing a build on December 9th, 2024, while I was working. After remembering how good of a builder I am. But my friend Luke is better. He actually built the house in the first screenshot, too.
He wants some help redecorating his house here, so I'm gonna help him make this. I mean, meh build. No offense to him, but meh build. It doesn't even look finished right there.
So, while at work, I sent Luke a text. After pleasant discourse, I had to come up with a blueprint so Luke knew what to build. Now let's rewind. When I wrote the 50-chapter script of Digman over a year ago, Kelsey's house initially looked something like this. Then once I actually had to start thinking about making this chapter, I realized it made no sense for her house to be this big. Okay, minor spoilers about Hilsey. Hilsey was introduced as a former dig woman that's a living legend, and the person who will train Gray and Chris. She seemed pleasant. She is not pleasant. She lives off-grid, alone, and hasn't interacted with society in decades. So why in the hell would she have a house with 2 bedrooms upstairs? I'm very glad I came to this realization in time. So when drawing what Luke was going to build, I made sure the floor plan only had 1 bedroom, a small living room, and a kitchen. Very small kitchen. Then I decided to make the 3D version so Luke actually had something to work with. Shortly after telling Luke what to do, he sent me the final result. It was perfect. Mostly. I wish I told him to make it a smidge bigger, but I don't. It's still good. He even made 2 houses, one with a raised foundation and a normal house. So that I knew I had a solid build to work with, I knew nothing could go wrong, right? If you're just here for the Minecraft, I'm gonna derail for a second here so you can just skip to this timestamp. However, at this time, I had just begun working on chapter 4, so let's jump to. It's time to fix the script for chapter 5, because initially, this chapter was supposed to be a part of last chapter, which you should go read. But I decided I was not gonna make a 39-page chapter and split them up into 2 parts. And then I also just made some tweaks to this chapter. In this chapter, the gang travels through the cart system to Hilsey's house. And after Hilsey tells them her crazy plan, they all jump off the cart one by one, and soon they see the house. I began making the first page when...
You should have her call them dig boys, like, with discrimination.
That is the dumbest shit ever. Then I made the next page, and this page represents a lot of pages I made, and that's changed the paneling last second. This was the original version of the page, and this was the final version of the page. A lot of the time if I see a panel in a corner, and there's not like a super sophisticated background, I'll just delete that shit. I think it adds more visual interest, and it makes the page look more full. And for some reason on this page, I also airbrush shaded Hilsey. I don't know why I did that, because I've literally never done that before, and I don't think I ever will again. I guess it's kind of cool. Now we get to my bad panel. The first chapter of my manga is 91 pages. However, since I made panels big and didn't want to include that much dialogue on a single page, the page count doesn't really make sense for the amount of content covered, and I could have probably just done the same thing in like 70 pages. After that chapter, I decided I want to progress with the story a little faster, so I had to bite the bullet and cram pages here and there. Due to lack of skill, a good person could make it not look crammed. So for this chapter, I haven't really been cramming, but I didn't want the scene to run on too long, so I ended up cramming a lot into this tragic page. Also, I wish I did this a little bit differently, especially in hindsight, which I'll get to. For example, these panels of Hilsey jumping off after she can do whatever she wants is probably a little more important and significant than Chris being confused a panel before. This definitely should have been the bigger panel. Somehow, I don't really know. Anyway, I don't like this page. I like this part though, but it's whatever. Anyway, we get to the next page, which I was super excited to draw because this panel reminded me of this panel from chapter 3, which I really liked. So I started drawing it. I didn't like it as much as I thought it was, but I still liked it. However, when reading the flow of the story, you go from Chris near tweaking to him kind of being normal. Let me explain. You know how I implied I made this page first? I lied to you. I was actually sick at this time. I just could not bring myself to work on this monstrosity. So I skipped to this page, because like I said, I was excited to draw this. However, since Chris's previous mental state wasn't in my mind when I drew this position, it's just kind of unimmersive, but I'm too lazy to fix it. But then I was super excited because I got to draw this page, which reminded me of this page I made for my manga Bald Boy. Yeah, there's room to be desired. And I felt that desire! Beyond that, I was desire incarnate while drawing. I was drawing so incredibly, I began to all thanks to my artistic process, which involves taking a reference picture, which I do a lot. The great thing about using references is later on, when I drew from my imagination, I just realized I got a lot better. Anyway, what was I saying? I don't remember, but the page is finished now. Woo! At the conclusion of the last page, the next page would be on the right side of the book, if this were being read physically, which will happen one day. And we're super close to the double page spread, but not close enough where it can be on the next set of pages. So I had to stretch out and add some content to fit it into 3 pages so the double page spread would align correctly, resulting in this page. This is a very inefficient use of space that I wish I could go back and stretch this into 2 pages instead. But since I was lazy and didn't panel with the future in sight, a cock got shoved up into my ad. However, I did get this page out of it, which I really like. And then it was time to make the double page spread. I text Luke to send me the file, which he did. And here's a little tutorial on how to add world files to your Java Minecraft. Download the file. Type run into Windows search. Then type %appdata%, then go to .minecraft, then go to saves, then drop the save file you downloaded into this folder. Then you can just open up Minecraft and hop onto the world. Luke's in it again, you fuck. It's okay, I can just... For way too long, I tried figuring out how to fix this world and make it so I could join the save. However, there is a lesson here. No matter how excited you are for something, no matter how much you expect something to work out, it often doesn't. But life isn't special because of its predictable nature, but because of the life-altering events it suddenly throws at you. So it's in these moments you learn. Anything worth doing, anything worth living for, is hard. And that's why I gave up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Now I just decided to build it myself in Minecraft, which on the bright side, I get to include this cool time lapse. I actually deleted the cool time lapse by accident, so you're getting this boring one. I was really looking forward to the cool time lapse. And it's at this moment I'm grateful I decided to waste a week of my life making Mario Party in Minecraft, because that's how I learned to use World Edit, which saves a lot of time doing stuff like this. I decided to put the house inside the cave so I could get a good vibe check of what the page is gonna look like. The cave should have been a smidge bigger, but it's all good. Thank you to Luke for making the house. It was a pleasure copying him. If anyone was watching this part of the video, comment Luke's a poop. You'll appreciate it, I promise. It is not an inside joke that's a half insult toward him. That would be mean. I'd never be mean to him.
Got placed.
Yo, it's a Luke farm.
I wrapped up the build and was happy with it, to no one's surprise, considering I just copied someone else. But then it was time to get drawn. I dropped the screenshot in Krita and began drawing gray from imagination out of laziness. And then I realized I probably should draw from reference on the double page spread, so I took my reference photos and returned. I drew all the people, they looked chill, and got to the fun part, tracing the house. Yes, I'm still a real artist, I swear. I learned it's quite weird converting Minecraft's weird blocky proportions into semi-realistic ones, and then I made the verdict on whether I think it's worth tracing Minecraft for drawing purposes. In my opinion, if the build is shown at a normal angle like this drawing, I don't think there's much of a point in using Minecraft. It kind of just gets in the way a little bit. Feels like I would have just been better off using a reference photo. But in the future, if I'm drawing the house from a weird angle, I will probably return to the Minecraft world for some screenshots to look at, not trace. Only for content, though. I would never throw away my artistic integrity. That's probably not going to age well. While drawing the house, I realized I was forced to think about, how did Hilsey get this fucking house? And I decided this goober made it. And if this goober made it, why does the house look so damn fresh? So I had to make it look scuffer. I varied the line weight here and there to make it look a little more janky. I threw an axe into a window frame because that, you know, it adds character. Added some boards on the side of the wall, which made it look a little bit more scuffed, but I think it still gets the idea across. That's not perfect. Also, every window frame is like, and the door, nothing's square. And I really like how the house turned out. And then I get to the background. And for some reason, I didn't like it, except for this one crystal. When it hit me, I like it because this crystal has the thinnest line art, and that's a chunky crystal. So I delete the entire background to make the line art thinner and throw in a tree, and I make the crystals chunky. I throw in a tree just because it's pretty. Now I really like it, actually. And there's the page. The heights of the characters are definitely are not right for sure, but also it's really cool looking at this page and seeing the Minecraft house perfectly overlaying it. Minecraft, I love you. But there was still work to be done. Holy shit. I made the next page, and everything here was drawn from imagination, except this. I know that no one in particular is doing a crazy pose, but I like it considering I haven't drawn without reference in months. Now, I make the final page, which I really like. Unfortunately, I didn't rescreen this page because I'm a fucking idiot. But here's the original storyboard, and here's the final page. And I did the thing. I learned after I started drawing, I want to make Gray's slight depression more dramatic, so I added the circle panel here. However, they ruined the flow of the page by making it so when you read this panel, then this panel, the next intuitive panel you would read would be this one. But that's not right. So I lowered these two panels and slanted the top of them so that the reader will jump to the correct panel. Then, yeah, I did the thing. However, this time I made the floor go throughout the entire page, which again, I just think makes the page look more full. Basically, I think it looks cool as fuck. Now the chapter's done. Unfortunately, this chapter is probably one of my least favorite. If I were to rank the chapters, it would look like this. This chapter is super important because it sets up the next arc of the story. I feel like I did it in an interesting way, at least compared to the original script, which if you want to hear, I talked about it last video. But I feel like it's missing something. Right now, I think it's because the dialogue didn't feel like a natural conversation since there were too many crazy reactions. But if you can think of any other reasons, please let me know in the comments. But it's okay. The next chapter is probably gonna be one of my favorites so far. I think I've already made Gray an interesting and semi-complex character, but next chapter I feel as though I feel like I really cement that. Anyway, enough about the next chapter. Here is this chapter's recap.
In a minute here, we need to jump onto an empty cart.
Gray is zoned out when Chris gets his attention.
Hey, Hass.
Don't call her by her last name!
Not that I need it, but can you even train us? Or has all the alcohol and smoking wrecked your brain? It has, hasn't it?
I ain't training you, dig boys.
Kelsey says to Gray, and Chris is surprised. She doubles down saying they aren't her students, when Munchie reminds her of something.
Right. I forgot about that. Okay, you two can be my students if you, complete a task for me.
What task?
Gray and Chris ask, to Kelsey's frustration, so she asks Pamela.
They could do my job of getting you groceries and look out for spies.
You fucking moron. No one's spying on me. You're stupid. Why'd I even ask you?
Kelsey laughs, and then comes up with the idea.
You two will go to the fourth strata and, bring me some hats I left down there, yes.
To Gray's amusement, but Chris's disappointment. Chris complains that no one survives the fourth substrata. Kelsey then says Munchie will be going with one of them, stating that Gray and Chris won't be traveling together.
No!
Yes!
I can't fight beasts without him.
Alright, get ready. See you guys in a bit.
Pamela says jumping onto a cart.
And you leave tomorrow.
Kelsey adds, which Chris rebuttals, saying their press tour isn't over yet, when Kelsey says,
Now that I'm training you, I can do whatever I want.
Kelsey says before jumping off. Gray is happy, whereas Chris is distraught, and Gray pushes Chris into an oncoming cart.
I haven't got to do this in so long! No picking on Chris anymore, they said. Black eyes are bad for press, they said. Freedom! I just want to fall asleep.
Gray thinks while riding the car, before getting snatched off by Kelsey, and Pamela leads the way to the house while Munchie runs ahead.
Goodbye, sweet freedom.
Kelsey says, they walk through the cave, and Pamela announces they're there.
We have to live in that piece of shit?
Hey! That house is my pride. I built it myself.
Gray and Chris then go inside.
I can't find a light switch. Hey, when do you think we'll get the rest of our stuff?
This house sucks.
Seriously, how are we supposed to see? Gray?
Munch, go away.
Gray says, trying to fall asleep holding his pickaxe. Woo! Peak as always. You can read chapters 1 to 5 for free by clicking the link in the description. And if you do give it a go, I'm very, very appreciative. Okay, bye.